welcome back to Fredericton, Jeff and Jeff, Martin, Jeff Burrows from the band The Tea Party. Guys, welcome back to Fredericton.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great to have you back here. Now, in your latest album, Transmission, I guess there's a sort of a shift to a more of a electronic industrial sound on that album. Now, why the change?
It wasn't really a change, more of an evolution of the band's sound. And it's just, I mean, the three of us are pretty much like sonic junkies, you know, and we use sound as tools to help enhance the structure of the songs themselves, right? And that's really all that they are, as tools. Like, we're not flirting with, we're not doing like a U2 type of vibe and like, you know, going electronica full-on steam head, right? It's just, our thing is we like increasing our arsenal of sound. Everything that we've had in the Tea Party is still there and still very apparent. We've just added another layer to the sonic landscape.
Okay. Now, the reviews I've been reading about the album actually have been quite good. None of those comparisons I'm even going to mention. You'd probably chew nails and spit them at me if I did.
Well, they just don't exist anymore, do they? Because, I mean, Transmission finally set that all to rest, and what we've achieved with this record, I feel, and a lot of critics agree, surprisingly, is that we've achieved a very unique, distinct sound that sounds like no other band. Like, nothing in the world right now of rock and roll sounds like the Tea Party.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a very proud moment for us, really. You know?
You guys read the stuff that's written about you guys?
Sometimes for laughs, yeah.
What's your reaction to it?
What we'll get sometimes is the record company will put together the phone book that's about that thick of all the good reviews, and then we'll get the mini phone book of all the bad reviews, and the bad ones are the funnier ones, actually. So. Yeah.
What do you think of when critics actually denote your album to like putting stars in front of it, like 2 stars out of 5 or 3 stars? I mean, this is an art form.
You know, I don't know if the word would be sympathize with the critics, but you see, like a critic's job is that basically he or she gets a record, listens to it once, forms an opinion, and moves on. The Tea Party has never, ever made a record in our lives where you can form an opinion based on one listen, because there's a lot of depth in the records that we make, and it takes a few listens to understand basically where the cohesiveness is coming from with our records. You know, like Transmission is still something that we find, like with our email hits or whatever, that people are just listening to it over and over again and finding new things every time, like very apparent new things, you know. So I just, for me, a critic's review of our record, unless he or she gave it the 6 or 7 listens necessary, it doesn't mean anything to us, you know. It just doesn't.
So I couldn't sit down and listen to an album once and form an opinion of it at all?
Not our records, no. I mean, there are, like, if you're listening to pop rock or whatever, yeah, of course. It's very transient and it's there, you know, and you can form an opinion pretty quickly, but not our stuff, no.
So now how's the new material going over live?
It's going over great now. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think live, as usual with the other albums, it comes across even more sonically bombastic. And so far as recreating it, it's turned out a lot easier than we thought would in the beginning. During the recording of it and so on and so forth, we hadn't even really performed the songs, you know, as such, because we were, you know, just doing them as we were. And by the time it came to rehearsals, we were a little bit nervous and so on, but once we got through it, it was fine. And now it's reached a climax, this plateau that we've mastered. This entire you know, album and the concert itself now, the hour and a half to 2 hours that we go.
Except for one song.
Except for that one elusive song. Yeah, and the show turns out great, but actually Jeff's got a funny story.
Which funny story?
The Australian...
Oh, yeah, well, you know what's happened is our song Release was released globally as a single, and it's doing very well. But in Australia, where we find a lot of our success as well, the Triple J radio station there, who we have a lot of respect for, the program director is a great musical mind, decided that Release wasn't suitable for his radio station. It was just a bit too haunting, too slow, right? And like more upbeat stuff. So they picked a song off of Transmission without our consent, and they picked a song called Gyroscope, right? Which is, it's a great song on the record, but it's one that we don't play live, because it's a lot of this, right? Yeah. And I still haven't figured out how to sing it and play guitar at the same time. And so now we're headed to Australia on Sunday. We have this 5-week tour, and this single's going huge there, and we don't even play the song. Yeah. So we're trying to...
They started by releasing it, and now subsequently, even that's more of the alternative rock or progressive type of rock station that's national. And now even the mainstream rock and some of the pop stations have picked up the same song, and now we're going to get there, and we're just going to go, how about how about an old song? How about, remember this one?
Now, a while back, I know you guys...
Yeah, like Jagger got laryngitis for the Toronto show, the
Yeah,
Sky
yeah,
Dome,
that's
so
right.
that was canceled. And then the Montreal show that was 2 days later, it was canceled because it was Olympic Stadium. The actual ceiling had caved in from the results of the ice storm, right, that hit Montreal. So those 2 shows were canceled, and they were rescheduled for April. But as it turned out, we had this tour booked in Australia, and it just wasn't worth it for us to do those 2 shows. I mean, it's an honor to play with the Stones. It's not going to make or break our career, you know. And the thing with us is that there's a lot of people in Australia that want to see the band again, so we have to go where we're wanted. Yeah.
You guys did play with Page and Plant, so...
Yeah,
No,
we
that
did.
must, I read somewhere that they were actually watching you guys perform. It must have made you fairly nervous.
No, not at all.
No?
No, I mean, yeah, for the entire show. I mean, Paige was on my side of the stage watching what I was doing, and Plant was on Stuart's side of the stage watching, Stuart and Jeff, and they sat for the whole thing. And afterwards, the accolades that they gave us, as far as, we were the only opening band ever for Zeppelin that got a standing ovation, which was amazing for us, and how we were their favorite band that opened up for them and all this stuff. And out of that, Jimmy and I have developed a friendship that we speak maybe twice or once every 2 months or something like that. We keep in contact, and it's great, like The Sorcerer and The Apprentice, something like that.
Maybe sometime down the road you guys might hook up and do something together?
Yeah, well, it looks like we'll probably be doing some dates with the new Page Plant tour that's going to happen in late summer. And, yeah, you never know what will come out of it.
Now, I know in the States you've switched labels from EMI over to Atlantic. How has that helped things?
It's helped things a lot. Would you agree?
Yeah, the problem with EMI in America, even if we had gotten about half of what EMI in Canada or, in other foreign territories like Australia or Germany were giving us and helping us out with, it probably could have worked. It's just that their attitude was they are the stars and they are the ones who can make or break you, and what you have to say really has no bearing on the career or the outcome of your career or anything. So it got really frustrating, and some really silly goof-ups on their part, like missing an actual release date of an album by a week and strange things like that. I'm just like, God, this is supposed to be a billion-dollar corporation that thrives on music, and it had nothing to do with music. So unlike their peers in this country and other countries, it just didn't cut the mustard. So.
Also, too, like, America's very radio-driven as well right now, and we're not exactly a radio-friendly band, So I think that was one of the main problems with that situation as well. But our new relationship with Atlantic, obviously, given their past and their present, they understand rock bands, they understand rock and roll, and they understand that we're a band that has to tour in order for people to grasp what we're about. We get in front of people and they get it, So that's what we've been doing in America right now, and we're finding great success.
Okay. Well, I wish you guys the very best of luck in the future. Hopefully next time you see you up this way, you'll be playing the arenas, which I think that could happen very soon.
Well, yeah, I mean, it probably could have happened this time, but what we wanted to do, we hadn't been out here in such a long time. We wanted to give people a more intimate show before we go to that next step, because it has been a long time since we've been here, and the band has gone through this somewhat of a metamorphosis. So, one more intimate show, and then we're going to have to accommodate everyone after that.
Okay, great. Jeff Martin,
Thank you.
Jeff Burrows, from the band Tea Party.